Okay. Morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. This is Lee, and we're working on anxiety. I'm talking with Judah. Say hello, Judah.
Hi, everybody.
Can you make your camera focus a little lower?
Yes.
Maybe on the ceiling. I'd rather see more of you and less of the ceiling.
Let's see. How's that?
That's much better, thank you. Judah is from Bermuda, and we first talked a few years ago, and very briefly in my office, and he took to our methods on the spot quite well, but he disappeared on us for a couple of years, and then he reappeared magically, and so that was recently, and he's. Have you finished my book yet?
I'm about 3/4 of the way through your book.
Is that the big one, How to Stop Stuttering?
No, that's the smaller one
Oh,
that I just started. Yeah.
come on. You can read the smaller one in a couple of hours. I mean, of course, you gotta think about it and try and do it, but you should have that finished by now. What's holding you up?
Work mostly.
Well, yeah, but what do you do at night? You're going out with girls and you're going to the bar and you're playing hockey. I know. Come on. What are you doing at night?
Fishing.
Fishing. All right. Well, you need to cut back on the fishing and increase the reading. You should finish that thing up. What else? Tell us what you're doing on a daily basis to improve your stuttering right now.
On a daily basis, I try and use the tips and tricks that you gave me. Uh, Normally, the ones that work for me most are the stopping and mashing my words together.
We call that linking.
Linking, yes. I also read every night, or I try to read. As well as that, it's the
you hang out with
pauses
anybody at night?
throughout
Your
the
family?
sentence. What was that, Lee?
You hang out with anybody at night, like your family or a girlfriend or anything?
Uh Normally it's just me. My mom is back for the summer, and my girlfriend is back for a few weeks. So currently now, yes, but normally it's just me here.
What do you read aloud?
Your book.
Okay.
Your book, yes.
Uh-huh. And when you read aloud, you don't have a stuttering problem, do you?
No, none at all.
And that proves to you, tell me that it does, that if you can read aloud without stuttering, you can talk without stuttering, right?
Yep.
There's no physical reason or genetic reason that makes you stutter. It's all mental. It's all a habit. It's like you react to certain things because it's habitual. It's done over and over and over and over again. And that's what happens. When you have a millisecond break between your words,
Yep.
you can
There you go.
think a word, fear it, force it, and block. Any stutterer can do that. So you've mastered the art of thinking, fearing, and forcing a word in a millisecond. You are now a professional at doing that. And what we're going to try and do is when you link, that's the end of it. You cannot stutter when you link. When you stutter, it's because you didn't link. I am speaking right now, linking all my words and all my syllables. I am humming through my words. Humming through my words. Do that.
Humming through my words.
When I do it,
When I do it,
I never stutter.
I never stutter.
And I never will.
And I never will.
Simply because
Simply because
when I hold my tone,
when I hold my tone,
it is impossible to stutter.
it is impossible to stutter.
Judah, that is true. Now, you can do it louder than we just did. You can do it in your normal voice, as we just did. You can do it in a soft voice, or you can do it in a whisper. You can take turns. You can do it in different ways. I am having great success with everybody from very severe stutterers, and I'm working with several of them right now, to very mild people. I mean, they almost don't stutter at all. I'm having success with them, all of them, by getting them to hold their tones through their words. I've never realized until just now. I have been doing what I'm doing with you right this minute for 10 years. 10 years, 7 days a week. And I'm just now realizing what I just said to you. Linking is an absolute solution if you'll do it. But you got to be willing to be a little bit over the top.
Mm-hmm.
I can do it in a soft voice just as well. I don't have to scream at you to do it. I can scream at you, or I can talk in my regular voice, or I can move around. Sometimes regular, sometimes louder, sometimes really loud. But I think about changing my voice register. It makes it easier to hold my tone through my work. But I am thinking two things. Now, since the last time we talked, has your speech improved materially?
Yes.
Can you define that? Humming through your words, holding your tone through your words. Can you tell us how it has improved?
Firstly, I have gotten two people have commented on my speech, one person at work and one person at home. I can't remember what conversation I was having with them, but we was having a talk and I hadn't stuttered throughout that. So during that, she stopped me and said, "Oh, wow, you realize that you haven't stuttered throughout this." And then I was like, "Oh, yes, that is true."
Once you realize, so all right, say after me. Once I realized
Once I realized
how well linking works,
how well linking works,
my fear of stuttering will die slowly.
my fear of stuttering will die slowly.
Judah, that's true. When you read aloud, you are killing stuttering. When you talk to me as you are right now, you are killing stuttering. The only difference between talking to me right now and when you read aloud is that it's easier to read aloud, isn't it?
Yeah, because the words are there, so it's just
There's no one there to judge you.
yeah,
But part of stuttering, you can convert stuttering into a blessing in your life. You really can. I've done it, and a lot of other people have done it too. Because when you can actually teach yourself to love to speak. The very thing that is your problem, you can become best at. When I was not a natural athlete, but I wanted to play baseball in the worst way. When I was a kid, it was the national pastime.
skiing,
You know,
skiing,
but
skiing though.
yeah,
You're
well,
pretty good at skiing,
yeah, I'm
Toby.
bad at skiing, but and I learned that late in life. But
Sure.
when I was a kid doing baseball, I wanted to be able to do baseball so badly, and I wasn't as coordinated as some of the other guys, and but yeah, I took a tennis ball and I threw it against steps in front of my house, and it sent the ball out in all different ways. And I did it by the hour, 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 by the hour. And I got to be the best glove. I could, you couldn't get a ball by me. If I could touch it, I could field it. So, but I couldn't hit. In high school, I was on a team that was second or third in the state of Missouri. And I had the worst batting average, the very bottom on that team. I was the worst. It was like 110 or something. It was terrible. When I went to college, I went out for the team, and I decided we had wooden bats in those days. So I drilled a hole in my bat and I filled it with lead, made it real heavy. And I practiced, I was left-handed, I practiced swinging at tree leaves at all different heights, chest level, waist level, knee level. And I would swing at tree leaves that were this big, and with this heavy bat. And I carried this bat around with me all the time. And where I had a minute, I was practicing swinging. By my sophomore year, I had the highest batting average on the team in college. I did that by work, man. I became good at what I was not good at. I was also a stutterer. Oh yeah. And I became a very good speaker. And I love to speak. It's so much fun. And it's so easy. So easy. It's effortless. But I've done it and done it and done it and done it and done it. I go, whatever my problem is, I go right there and do it. I convert my problem into my asset. That's what you should do with your speech. When you become the best speaker you can be, you will be probably the best speaker you know. In your world, you'll probably be the best speaker you know. Isn't that interesting?
Hmm.
And doesn't it sound like fun?
Yeah.
Look, and part of the thing is too, with stuttering, there are different things behind it. The main thing behind it is concern with what other people think. And the thing about that is, everyone's concerned about what other people think. Everyone. But stutterers, it manifests itself in a speech problem. There are many other ways it can manifest itself. But the point is, there is nothing more pointless for you or me than to worry about what anyone else thinks about us, because we can't control it. You
Yep.
can be an absolute angel and somebody else can think you're a demon. They're wrong. But they can think it, there's nothing you can do about it. Now, the truth of the matter is too, when you spend your energy and your thoughts on improving yourself, not on worried about what George, Susan, or Bob or Sue thinks about you, but just doing it, just being the best you that can be. Next thing you know, everybody you know is thinking they're thinking higher things, better things about you.
Mhm.
You're not doing it. I mean, you're just doing what you do, and you're trying to do it as well as you can. And look, I can remember being your age. How old are you now?
24?
Okay,
20, 25, I think. Yeah.
listen, when I was 25, I was married. I had 2 children. I was 4 years married. I had 2 children, and I was broke. And I was in law school at night, and I had a full-time job during the day. And I did that, and I sucked. And it was a mess. And when I came out of law school, I passed the bar, and one of the first things that happened to me is I got assigned a criminal case. Some guy who had robbed a store with a gun, and he was caught outside the store with the gun and with the merchandise and several witnesses. He had no chance at all of avoiding conviction. The only thing worse than the evidence against him was that I was his lawyer. That was the only thing worse. Because I sealed the deal. Whatever prayer there might have been of him getting off, I eliminated it. I couldn't say my name, his name, or anything else in court. And when I finished that terrible experience, I was 25 or 6. I can't remember anymore. But I was suicidal, really. I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know how I was going to make a living because under pressure, I started really badly. I mean, I couldn't get anything out. And my father had never heard me stutter, but he was in court that day. He never said anything to me about it. And I went to a shrink and told him about it. He said, well, I don't know any cure for stuttering, but he said, if I were you, I'd learn self-hypnosis. And that's what I did. As I said in my book, I bought Melvin Power's book, which the psychiatrist recommended me. It was a short book, 100 and some pages. And this guy taught a lot of people how to hypnotize themselves. And I started doing it 3 times a day. And I discovered crutches sort of one by one by one by one by one, dropping the first letter, using synonyms, similar words, talking around the word, changing the subject, changing my thought. It was a long path. But within several years, I stopped stuttering. Then I still worried about it for almost 10 years. Every time I talked, I was sweating. My heart was going like this, and I was sweating. But it got less and less and less and less and less. And by the time I was 40, I wasn't afraid of it anymore. And I began to like it. And I was forced to keep talking. I had to keep facing my demons. And that's what we want you to do. We want you to face your demons. We want you to talk more under pressure, but there's one rule you've got to obey. One rule, and you must obey it at all times. And there are no exceptions. You will not appear speech disabled. You can make mistakes. I make mistakes. You can do that. That's okay. Or force a word once in a while. That's okay. But you cannot appear speech disabled. And you know what that is. When you speak to the level that you're humiliated, that's a bad incident. And that is something you cannot allow from this minute to the rest of your days.
Yep.
You're never going to do it again. You're going to make mistakes. You're a human being, but you are not going to appear speech disabled. And how are you going to do that? You're going to link your words to a stop. You're going to keep your increments of words as short as you need to for now. Eventually, it won't matter. Because once you prove to yourself that you can avoid humiliating yourself, you can't be perfect because you're human, but you can avoid humiliating yourself. Once you realize that you can do that, the fear is going to begin to crash until someday it won't be there. But fear is not stuttering. Stuttering is stuttering. Fear doesn't humiliate anybody. Stuttering does. Stuttering, there's a big craze these days about stutter proudly and all that kind of stuff. It's unnecessary. Why should you do it? It takes other people's time. Don't waste their time either. You can do this. What you do when you read aloud alone, you can do with me. And what you can do with me, you can do with your girlfriend, your family, people at work, or anybody else.
Mhm.
Audiences make no difference. In fact, the bigger the audience, the more intimidating it is. The more important it's the premier, it's some famous person, whatever. It doesn't matter, man. Audiences don't affect your ability to speak.
Yep.
You can speak the way you read aloud all the time. The difference right now, and when you read aloud, when you talk to me, is you're thinking about solutions when you talk to me. When you read aloud alone, you're just relaxed.
Yeah.
It's not a problem. And that's what you're going to be eventually everywhere. I am. I'm not doing anything you can't do. I've just been doing it a long time. And it's fun. Speaking is great fun. And you got everything working for you. You know? You really do. Look in the mirror. Count your blessings. You don't really have any significant problems. But you got to do your job the best way, whatever your job is. Brain surgeon, street sweeper, or something in between. Whatever your job is, you got to give it 180%, 180%, 100%, whatever. You got to do that. And then you got to be the loving person you can be all the time with everybody. Doesn't matter who they are. Doesn't matter. You know why? Because you need to do it for yourself.
Mhm.
People like Vladimir Putin, he's the most miserable man on the planet. Because he's hurting people all the time. He's even killing them. The guy's got to be in incredible mental pain. He's going to die. He lives in hell and he'll die in hell. That's no life. So he's the richest man in the world. He stole it all. And what difference does it make? You can only eat so much, buy so many clothes. It's very limited things you can do with money. I've had a fair amount, relatively in the past. So what? The only thing I didn't have enough money to do was buy my own plane. If I had that money today, I wouldn't even have the plane.
Mhm.
You know what? Some of the greatest thinkers that ever lived, the Stoics, the great Greek philosophers, some of the great religious people, they preach the less you desire. the less you desire things, the wealthier you are. It sounds so odd, doesn't it? But things really don't, it's not enough. And you can be happy with all levels, whatever. In any event, getting back to you, you got to stop worrying about what other people think and start focusing on, am I doing 100% of my job and everything else I'm doing that I choose to do? If you don't like what you do, change it. But whatever it is you're doing, give it 100%. Be the loving person and do your mind training. I really would like you to do 20 minutes a day before you go to sleep and 20 minutes when you get up in the morning. Can I talk you into doing that?
Yep.
Because you need to take control of your mind. Your life is in your mind. It's not outside. Your life is how you see it, how you think about it. And the good news is you're in control of what you think. I can't make you think anything. No one else can. But thoughts are coming in on you all the time and everybody else. You have the same thoughts. The psychiatrist told me, I just said, hey, I worry about what I think. Sometimes I think some terrible things. And he said, Lee, every guy from your culture, your age, has had 99% of the thoughts you have. Your thoughts are your worst thoughts and your best thoughts. Everyone else has it. A thought by itself doesn't really matter. It's what you do about it. Do you let it morph into words and deeds? If it's a good thought, that's good. If it's a bad thought, it's bad. If it's something in between, you probably shouldn't be doing it. But you're in control of it. That's the point. And stuttering helps you realize that you can change the way your mind thinks about things. You're changing the way you're thinking about speech. Everywhere you speak should be as much fun for you as when you read aloud. Every word you say to me, or your mother, or anybody at work should be as much fun for you as reading aloud, and as easy. And as you find less need to think about linking, and you will, if you keep at it, you will, then you can think more about crutch 11. No crutch at all. Speaking like a king. Speak slowly. Pronounce your words.
Mm-hmm.
Be expressive when you speak. Say things like you mean it, in a positive way. Keep your negative emotions to yourself. Clean them up and get rid of them. Let your positive emotions out. And smile. Smile when you speak. If you'll smile when you speak, your speech will be so much easier.
Yep.
And you'll look better to the listener. They'll like you better. It's a win-win. Stuttering is a blessing. You're making it into a blessing. You can do that with a lot of adversities in life. Maybe not with all of them, but you can do it with a lot of them. And maybe you can do it with all of them. I don't know. I only know what I've dealt with. But being the age I am, I've dealt with a lot more than you have. So naturally, I know a lot more than you do. And when you're my age, you're going to know a lot more than you do now. That's the way it goes. Age is not necessarily, and age is a positive in some respects. So is you. So, okay. Now, how do you get to, if you'll do your mind training, do you have the affirmations from my book?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You need to say each one of them 20 times for now. And then eventually, maybe you won't need the ones about speech, and you talk about jealousy or hatred or envy or insomnia or something else you talk about. But you can work on anything you wanted to do. Um, any negatives in your life, you can have a positive affirmation to address that negative thought. Oh, and then during the day, do your best not to accept negative thinking. Try and counter it with a positive thought. It's not easy to do, but when we don't control our thinking, we end up with a much lower value life and it keeps going down. If you don't control your thinking, life can pull you down pretty hard. It doesn't have to. You can fight it. You can make your life what you would like it to be. You can make yourself pretty much what you would like yourself to be. It's all about being loving and mind training. That's what it's all about.
Mm.
And you're learning that really now at your tender age. 25 is a tender age to me.
Yep.
Anybody under 40, I still consider a child. So, okay, so let's get back to your talking. Now, when is the last time that you humiliated yourself with your speech? When was that?
The last time would have been during a company meeting for my job, and we all had to go around and say our name and our job.
Okay, and when was that?
Maybe at the beginning of the year, January, maybe.
January. All right. Now, I'll call that a bad incident. Humiliation is a bad incident. Anything shy of that is not a bad incident and should be, well, we classify them as minor problems. And some of it may just be being uncomfortable when you speak. Now, I'm going to ask you a little different question. When was the last time that you think, and this may have been before you talk to me, 10 minutes, or it may be January, I don't know. The last time that you think you were uncomfortable with your speech and you know that the listener was noticing your speech. When was, I'll call that an uncomfortable incident.
Mm.
And when would you say that was? And
Uh, that was when talking to my girlfriend, and she reminded me to use my linking of words. That was yesterday.
okay, all right. And how many uncomfortable incidents would you say you had? Was that the only one in the past week? Or did you
Uh,
one an hour, one a day, one every other day, or what?
I wouldn't say uncomfortable, but ones that they notice maybe once a week, maybe once a week that the listener would notice.
Okay, this is very good information. Um, Now, we would like to eliminate, and we will, the noticeable ones as well.
Yeah, those would be times where I would forget to use the crutch, and then I would force the word, so they would actually notice me having
Okay.
a hard time. Yeah.
Of the crutches, if you had to do, and look, you always have to be, you got to give me I'm like the doctor that you go to a doctor and say, doctor, I don't feel well, give me some medicine. And the doctor says, well, where do you feel well? And you won't tell him. So he doesn't know what to prescribe. I have to know the answers to these questions or I can't really help you. So, so I need complete candor. Now, I'm going to attack the noticeable ones. I want to focus on that because I'm very happy about the bad incidents, the last one being January, but I really want to focus hard on these noticeable ones here, and that's our next target. They got to come out. Now, what is the easiest way? Think, when was the last time, you're saying one weekly, so what could and should you have done to avoid that noticeable incident?
Using my crutches during when I'm speaking, not just when I feel the blockage coming.
Okay, so in other words, the minute you feel a pressure situation, like your heart starts running a little fast, or you start thinking about, I wonder what he's thinking about my speech, that's a caution light. That's telling you, slow down, use your speech plan. Now, the minute you feel tense about your speech, you go in, you need to be, stop talking and grab your speech plan and go with it. Now, what speech plan do you think is most helpful when you begin to feel pressure?
When I stop and then I hum and link my words together.
All right.
And probably to talk slower also.
Okay.
Like making my words longer, like the lengthening of my words.
Right. If you went to work today and they had another one of those sessions whereby they want everybody to go around and say their names and introduce themselves, how do you think it would go? Tell me.
I think it would go better. I'm not sure how it would go because my name is the hardest thing,
Yeah, but how many? But the thing about it is, there's so many ways to say your name or anything else.
Yeah.
Let's take your name. We're not going to take your last name. We'll call you. We'll call you Judah Charleston.
Yeah. Well.
And so, how many things can you do? Look, your name. Then your name. My name killed me. I mean. I understand this problem, but there are a million ways. Crutches 1 through 8 or 8 ways. Some of them have multiple parts. Why don't you know them well enough at this point? What you're not knowing them. I can't learn them for you. You got to learn them yourself. Mm-hmm. Tell me what you should do to say your name. See, the fact that you don't know tells me you're at risk. You've got to know
how to say it.
You got to know that you can do it. Now, can you go, can you do that?
Yep.
Then you can
Judah.
Yeah. Let's go, Judah.
Judah.
Well, Judah Charleston.
Well, Judah Chapman.
And so, okay, so we can also use modulation. Is crutch 8 going out of our voice register, high and low? That really works well. Say after me, Judah. Say that.
Judah.
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 Okay. Judah Charleston.
Judah Charleston.
Once you got by the first letter
Yeah,
So
the rest is
you're done, man. You got it. You got it. Because as long as you link, nobody can ever stop you. So it's all about the first letter, the first syllable, the first word. So modulation is one way to do that. You know, that, and because, and but making a sound will work too. And saying another word will do it as well. I mean, you can say, my name is Judah Charleston. Say that.
My name is Judah Charleston.
Well, it's Judah Charleston. Say that.
Well, it's Judah Charleston.
I'm just putting any sort of words in front of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it'll still work the same way. The sound will work. Another word or phrase will work. When you do this, are you like going from person to person?
So we would be in a boardroom, basically, and there's maybe like
Okay.
12 to 15 of
That used
us.
to drive me insane. I
Yeah,
used to lead
it's
meetings.
the worst. It's the worst.
I would go to the bathroom and come back.
Yeah, me too.
And so, but that is not the solution. The solution is we're going to say it and we're going to have fun saying it. Now, but modulation is a very easy way to do it. Putting a word in front of it is easy. And here's another one. Now you're seated at the board table. You can do this. And you know, your first name is not an easy. It's not a common name, and it's not an easy name. A lot of people could not spell your name. They wouldn't know how to spell it. They wouldn't know how to spell Lee either. It can be Leigh or Lea or whatever, Lee. So you could go Judah Judah Charleston. Do that. Judah Charleston.
Judah Judah
Use
Charleston.
your hand. Use your hand.
Judah Charleston.
When you're busy thinking about your hand and each letter, you won't stutter.
Mm-hmm.
And and say it with some effort. Judah Charleston. You got to say it after you spell it. But Judah Charleston. So that's another solution that'll work. It'll also work to say Judah Charleston or Judah Charleston. And look, smile when you say it.
Yeah.
This is not a crime. You're not in trouble. You're not hurting anybody. And even if you screw up, a lot of people stutter who aren't even stutterers, you know, and they still stutter. They just don't think of themselves as stutterers, and they do stutter. So modulation or putting a word in front of it, putting a sound in front of it. But look, you've got to do this enough so that you got to find excuses to do this under pressure, because the only way you learn to talk under pressure is to talk under pressure.
Yep.
That's the key. It's like anything else in life. You want to be a good footballer, you got to play football.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is we have these meetings every time something new is going on, so I will get a chance to probably practice this soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I also think under pressure, as long as I feel as though I'm under pressure, which I haven't for 50 years, I'm going to talk less. I'm not going to say what I don't need to say.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to reduce my risks by talking less. Secondly, I will talk slowly because speed kills in speech too. And thirdly, I will talk softer than I normally do. When you're sitting at the conference table and it's your turn, you feel like you're on a stage and there's a bright spotlight on you and there's a mic in front of you and a podium and a sea of people out there listening. That's the way it feels, doesn't it?
Yep.
And when you talk in your regular voice, that situation remains like that for the moment. When you talk in a soft voice, it's like you move from the center of the stage over behind the curtain and you're peeking out like this. My name is Judah Charleston and I'm with so-and-so. It's kind of like you're in the corner. A soft voice takes the spotlight off. Can you talk in a soft voice?
Yes, I think I can talk in a soft voice.
And you can still be heard. When you talk in a soft voice, you'll still be heard. But that's another way, that's another thing you can do. It's easy to do. The opposite of that also works. Be an extreme example of yourself. Let yourself go. Let your head move. Use your hands a little bit. Good morning, everybody. It's nice to see you. My name is Judah. I'm Judah Charleston, blah, 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 blah. Whatever. Be an actor. Be totally out there. Almost like you're singing. My name is Judah Charleston. My name is Judah Charleston. That's the other extreme.
Mm-hmm.
Where we get in trouble is talking in our regular voice register, our regular way, when we're feeling heat. When you're an actor, when you're smiling, when you're moving your hands, when you're being vocal, demonstrative in a positive way, or being somewhat withdrawn and subtle and quieter, either extreme works. I don't want to give you too many solutions, but there's so many ways. You have got to prove to yourself, and I mean now, that you can say any word. You may not be able to give an hour speech yet, but you can sure as heck give your name, your serial number, your rank, whatever it is.
Yes.
You can do that because you know these basic things. You can go and do it. You can modulate it, Judah. You can do it. You can spell it out, Judah. Nobody really cares, man. Nobody's grading. And try to smile. That will take heat off you, and it makes everybody relax about you. And you got a good smile. Use it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tool. It's an asset. So, okay. What else do you want? You want to? Well, I should let you read something to me, I guess. Have I done that before? No.
You've done it before with me when I came to you. I can't remember doing it during a session, but I'm actually kind of pressed for time now.
Okay, let's let you go. Okay, let's let you go. And everything is good. So when will I see you again?
Next week, Tuesday.
Okay, all right. Well, look, keep up the good work. No humiliating speech. No uncomfortable speech. No speech where you think the problem is noticeable. We're taking it out.
Yep.
We're having fun, aren't we?
Yep.
We're We're going to win this game. It's just a question of when. We want to do it sooner than later. That's all. Keep smiling, keep believing, keep practicing, and do your mind training every day. I'll see you next week.
See you next week, Lee.
Don't get lost.